Looking for these better days.
It is Friday, April 17th. I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's what you need to know to make today a better day. The NBA play-in round will conclude tonight with two games as the 8th seed is on the line in both the Eastern and Western Conference. Tomorrow, round one of the NBA playoffs begin. Mackenzie Rivers joins me on this episode of Better Day, presented by FanDuel. And Mackenzie, here are the latest lines, courtesy of FanDuel for tonight's games. In the Eastern Conference, the Hornets, 3-point favorites at the Magic, total of 218.5. The Warriors at the Suns, Phoenix, a 3.5-point home favorite, total of 219.5. Your first thoughts on any of the line movement or where we are with these games right now heading into tonight?
The lines are pretty incredible. I think in both cases, just who is the favorite and the significance of that, I think is telling. The Hornets, 3.5-point favorites at the Magic, the up and coming team, everybody's favorite. Wait for this team in 3 years. 3 years ago, team, the Magic, are now dogs at home to make the playoffs against a team with a 25 win total. That is not a common occurrence. And the other favorite, I just don't think should be a favorite. I mean, I think the Warriors with Steph Curry probably right around the Lakers as far as like if you're projecting their net rating over 100 games plus 1.5, a better than average team, tough to do anything in the West type of team. That would have been a little better than the Lakers' net rating, but I just don't think they're worse than the Suns, and not a point worse. And I don't really think home court matters that much here. I mean, Golden State does not mind going to Phoenix for this type of game. I think it charges them up. So I like the Warriors. That's my best bet of the two games.
Well, here's some history with the loser of the 7-8 game hosting the winner of the 9-10 game. So that home team, the loser of the 7-8, in the history of the play-in round, Mackenzie, 6-4 straight up in ATS, 6-4 to the under, an average total of 220.2 in those games, with an average of 217.7 being scored. So the average total has gone down. Has gone down in these two games tonight, but it's on pace with the average amount of points being scored in those games, which is 218, and that's why we're at 218.5, 219.5 for tonight. Now, here's some further data. In the first halves, the home teams 7-3 straight up in ATS, 7-3 to the under, and in the first quarter, 6-4 straight up, 4-5-1 ATS, 5-4-1 to the under. Now, let's isolate it by if that home team is a favorite or not. If that home team is a favorite, like the Phoenix Suns are tonight, 6-1 straight up and against the spread.
Okay, all right.
6-1 straight up and against the spread in the first half. The first halves are going under 5-2 to the under. First quarter, the home favorites are 5-2 straight up, but only 3-1 ATS, 4-3 to the under in those games. If you are a home dog, like the Orlando Magic are tonight,
can't be good if we know the overall record and we know the favorites are 6-1 straight up in ATS.
0-3 straight up in ATS, Mackenzie. 2-1 to the under those games. First half, 1-2 straight up in ATS, 2-1 to the under. First quarter, 1-2 straight up in ATS, 1-1 on the total. So the home dogs are 0-3 straight up in ATS. The home favorites, 6-1 straight up and ATS. So, and favorites just in general are 6-4, both straight up and ATS. So it's interesting. We have one home favorite tonight in the Phoenix Suns, one home dog tonight in the Orlando Magic. But it sounds like you like both road teams. You like the road favorite in the Hornets, and you like the road favorite in the Warriors.
Yeah, I do. I think both of those teams win. Like gun to my head to win. Like those teams, and you're like, okay, well, one of them's plus 3.5. That must be a monster bet. I think if you're 49% chance to win, you might be 50-50 at plus 3.5. Like those points are just not worth all that much. So I would go money line with the Warriors. But that 6-1, I gotta say, it's sticking in my craw a little bit. I mean, maybe I'm underplaying the home crowd in this particular game. I mean, it is essentially a game 7 for these teams, and the Warriors have just played what was a game 7 for them, not that far away in LA from Phoenix, but still, they're old guys. Those planes, your knees get a little rickety.
I think it's just a better story if the Warriors win. Like, do I think
that too?
Yeah,
They're gonna play the. It's so much better if they play the Thunder.
yeah.
I mean,
Listen, I
it would
think
be the story of the first round.
I think
Maybe.
both the Warriors or Suns get swept by the Thunder, but like,
Oh yeah.
I just think it's a better story if it's Steph Curry and the Warriors. Like, it's just it'll be awesome. And then for the
Could
Hornets,
the Thunder end the Warriors' streak of always winning at least one road game in every series Steph Curry's been a part of? I think that's still active.
Wow.
I think they would go to the Oakland 2-0 or San Francisco now, and I would have them favored, to do that. So that'd be fun.
it's amazing. Like when we looked at the odds before the playoffs started and you see Charlotte as, high as they were in the Eastern Conference, knowing like, wait a minute, they have to win 2 play-in games to even get into the playoffs. But it just goes to show you, and we've talked about it before, how high they are rated analytically. And so should they get into the field, I mean, maybe there's a chance they give the Pistons a tough first round.
I was thinking, I've come 180 degrees on this in the last 24 hours, to be honest.
Okay.
I like for game 1 of that series, I probably like the Pistons because I love the data. It's very stark for teams that have had to do what the Hornets have had to do. We just claw their way into the 1-8 matchup. One seeds doesn't matter. It doesn't take that long to prep for these teams. I don't really care about that storyline. But they're just ready to roll, and they probably do roll them game 1. But if like I've been preaching, the first few months of the season is the NBA preseason, and then Christmas happens, and then we have basketball, the Pistons would still be great. JB Bickerstaff would be one of the Coach of the Year candidates, but the Hornets would be the story of the Eastern Conference, and they'd be a much higher seed. So I'm not sure that's just not the case.
All right, well, we will check out the action tonight, and then tomorrow it is the first round of the NBA playoffs. So here are the series that begin, and here are the games with the updated spreads. 4 games, 4 game ones here tomorrow on your schedule. Game 1 between the Raptors and the Cavaliers is your early game. That's 1 o'clock Eastern time. Currently, the Cavs 8-point home favorites, total of 219.5. Then you have the Timberwolves at the Nuggets, where Denver is a 6-point home favorite, total of 231.5. Hawks are at the Knicks. This is a 6 o'clock Eastern time tip. Knicks are 5-point home favorites, total of 216.5. And the Rockets are at the Lakers. This is a 8:40 Eastern time tip, where the Houston Rockets, 5.5-point road favorites with a minuscule total of 206.5. What's your first thoughts, Mackenzie, when you see a total of 206.5 for a playoff game here? In 2026, I should say.
Right, 2026 is a big caveat. In 2025, the Rockets and Warriors had totals, starting off at 200, and then towards the end of that series was like 190. So Ime Udoka still has a rock fight type team. The difference is why it's 7 points higher than last year. Kevin Durant and the Lakers defense is worse than was much worse than what the Warriors defense was. But we know this is the style that the Rockets know how to play in the playoffs, so I wouldn't be surprised if they go back there. I feel like it's correlated. If it goes under, the Rockets probably handle their business. If the Lakers win, it's because LeBron has a 30-point triple-double and everyone hits threes for him, and he dominates. So I do think the Lakers on the over would make sense. But annual tradition, let's not skip past it and let's not overthink it. The Saturday of NBA Game 1. I've done this at least the last 3 years on pregame and any place I was talking about basketball. Under in the first time. I think it's been the Cavs 2 of the 3 years too. Under in the first game of the NBA playoffs. We love unders anytime there's an early start time. Your circadian rhythms, your diurnal variations and the like are not what it should be. And the playoffs just uber charges whatever tendency that generally leads unders at this time of day, 10 a.m. in the morning specific, to be like 55% historically in the playoffs, and in the first round of the playoffs, it's something like 8-2 the last 10. Did you search it? I've definitely searched it in the past.
So here's what I searched. Does it matter if it's Saturday or Sunday? Because I only searched the Saturday games.
It would usually be Saturday.
Okay, so I did Saturday Game 1, and it starts before or equal to 1:30 Eastern time, right?
Yeah, and round 1, but let me see the overall first.
Yeah, that's I did that overall. I didn't do just round 1.
What was overall results?
So series Game 1, right? I'm only seeing 4 games show up, and it's 4-0 straight up for the favorites. 3-1 to the under. In the
All right.
first half of those games, 4-0 straight up, 3-1 ATS for the favorites, 3-1 to the under.
What was the? Yeah, I must have bet on the 3, but that's because start times is not in the database for that long, so that's why there's only that many games.
Okay, that makes sense.
But what was the one that didn't hit?
The one over was the 2022 playoffs, Sixers Nets. First half went over, full game went over, and that was a total. The first half total was 109.
I actually did bet that game. I blocked it out of my memory. Yeah.
Full. Yeah. So now I'm going to take away Saturday. Let me do, if it's Saturday and Sunday, it doesn't matter. So if it's game 1 of the series, right, your start time is before or equal to 1:30, right? And we have 2 this year. We have Celtics 76ers on Sunday, Cavaliers Raptors coming up tomorrow. The favorite straight up 10-6, 9-7 ATS, the totals, which is what we care about, 11-5 to the under.
Pretty good. Pretty good.
First half unders 7-4, but that's because first half data we don't have for all of the games here in this database. But for the full game, which we have going back to 2019, the 2018 season, 11-5 to the under with just that first game on Saturday and Sunday. So
and some trends get found out. We know that Alabama first half isn't going to work forever.
Yep.
However, I don't think this is that well known. I think this is like my own personal baby. Also, it's great this time of year because it's right after the regular season when they're used to setting totals in the 230s and 240s. So they seem to have made an adjustment. I don't think this would be 219.5 in the regular season, but it could be 207.5.
I also think that tonight's results will sway it. If we have 2 overs tonight, this 219.5 is going higher, and then we can bet under.
It's ticked up a little bit from open, and it would keep going because, like I said, this is a secret trend no one knows about.
Yeah, but also, Mackenzie, it's gone up because the playing games so far are 3-1 to the over. So I think there's been a little bit of a market correction, like saying, hey, maybe these games are a little bit too low. So I think that if we get overs tonight, we could see this number going up from 219.5.
Hornets Magic under a 217.5 is really like a statement by the market. They're begging you to bet the over there.
Oh, they are. All right, that'll do it for our NBA playoff preview. I do have a question about the awards market, though, Mackenzie, because this was a big story that came out yesterday. Basically, Luka Doncic and Cade Cunningham appealed to be eligible for NBA postseason awards. And, the NBA collective bargaining agreement said that whole, 65-game threshold. But they also include an extraordinary circumstance clause that allows players to petition to make the ballot if they fall short of 65 games. Both Cade Cunningham with the collapsed lung and Luka Doncic both came short, and they both won their appeals. Luka played 64 games, right? Because he also traveled for the birth of his child. So I guess like being on the paternity list or whatever, like he won his appeal because of that. And Cade had the, unfortunate circumstance. He played 63 games and missed 12 games with the collapsed lung.
What was his waiver or whatever? It was just like he really shouldn't have missed 12 games with the collapsed lung. What?
Yeah. So here is this is the interesting caveat though. Now at all these sports books, the awards markets are off the board, with the exception of like the prediction markets. Okay.
Right.
And so this is very interesting. I got to point this out. Because of this delay with both Luka and Cade being involved in like arbitration or whatever, right? Or the NBA avoiding arbitration and just saying, sure, you're eligible. The league did not send out ballots for postseason awards, for the regular season awards until yesterday, with the ballots being due back today. And so if you look at, I'm just looking at Kalshi, for example, prior to Tuesday's play-in game with the Charlotte Hornets, you see where I'm going here, prior to Tuesday's game between the Charlotte Hornets and the Miami Heat, on Kalshi, again, this is just one prediction market, on Kalshi, Con Knippel was 54.3% to win the Rookie of the Year. Cooper Flag, 44% to win Rookie of the Year. After that game, the market completely flipped. And right now, up on Kalshi, as we record this pod, Cooper Flagg is 67% to win Rookie of the Year. Con Knipple, 30% to win Rookie of the Year. I got to ask you, it's not supposed to count.
Yeah.
This is a regular season award. You are not supposed to count postseason games. But Con Knipple's performance in the play-in game on Tuesday, before voters had the chance to fill out their final ballots, does that impact the voters? And will we see Cooper Flagg win Rookie of the Year now?
I mean, it obviously shouldn't. And if anything, I would almost make an argument that the fact that you can go 2 for 6 in a game that you barely win shows you how much harder it is to play good basketball and win, and why Con Knipple's task of being one of the best players on a team that has the best rating for a month in the playoffs and storms into maybe the playoffs if they win today was so much harder and so much more impressive than Cooper Flagg. But I do think the odds are, I'm not sure they're accurate, but I do think if one voter changed their mind, they didn't change their mind in Con Knipple's direction. So I do think it's bad for any Con Knipple ticket holders.
Yeah, including ours. Yep. I'm just not thrilled about that. All right, let's take a look at Major League Baseball, NHL, as the regular season comes to a close last night.
What would you do if your online store converted 36% more shoppers? You could take 36% more vacation.
Another pina colada?
Yes, please.
Open a new retail location with 36% more square feet.
Fantastic.
Hire 36% more help.
You're hired and you're hired.
Shopify has the world's best converting checkout, up to 36% better than other e-commerce platforms. What you do with those extra sales is up to you. Switch to Shopify today at shopify.com/listen and get a $1 trial. Shopify.com/listen.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $250 in bonus bets just for getting started. And when every possession matters in the playoffs, FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action. From player props and your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back them up, FanDuel puts player research right at your fingertips, so you can check stats, trends, and matchups all in one place and make your picks with confidence. It's everything you need all in one app. So don't miss your shot. Head to FanDuel.com/believe. That's BLEAV to get started. FanDuel, play your game. 21 plus, select states for Kansas in affiliation with Kansas Star Casino. 18 plus, DC, Kentucky, Wyoming. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 1-800-MY-RESET. Call 1-888-789-7777. Visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut. Visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org and call 800-327-5050 in Massachusetts. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY in New York. Call 877-770-7867 in Louisiana.
Well, the Stanley Cup playoffs begin tomorrow as well, and here are your odds for each first-round series. Dallas Stars against the Minnesota Wild, where Dallas is a -120 favorite. Edmonton Oilers versus the Anaheim Ducks. Edmonton, a -210 favorite. The Avalanche take on the Kings. Colorado, -425. My goodness. Hurricanes against the Senators, where the Hurricanes -170. Penguins against the Flyers. Penguins -170. Vegas Golden Knights against the Utah Mammoth. VGK -190. And the Tampa Bay Lightning against the Montreal Canadiens. Tampa -250. Buffalo Sabres against the Boston Bruins. Buffalo -175. Those are your playoff series prices, courtesy of FanDuel. Your odds to win the Stanley Cup, Mackenzie, the Colorado Avalanche +310 favorites. The Lightning plus 370, Carolina plus 500, Dallas 11-1, and your Vegas Golden Knights 12-1. Mackenzie, who is your pick to hoist Lord Stanley's Cup?
Well, VJK obviously has value at 12-1, but I won't pick the homer pick. Blackhawks out of it. Give me the Avalanche. Give me the Avalanche. They seem to be, kind of a historic squad.
They're it's what an incredible year that they had. Obviously,
just so fast.
Yeah, President's Trophy winner, most points in the NHL, an absolute dominant team. And it's hard to beat them. It is very hard to beat them, especially, at home and then looking at their path. And so Colorado plus 310 obviously is the obvious bet in the Western Conference.
But where's the value, Scott?
I mean, maybe there's value in VGK at 12-1, right? They are the number 1 seed in the Metropolitan Division, right? So they wouldn't face Colorado till the conference final. And then I think in the East, I've said this before, I think
is Hart the number 1 goalkeeper for VGK, by the way?
I think he has become the number
point?
1 goaltender.
Right.
Yeah. I think he has become the number 1 goaltender. What's interesting is Carter Hart did play for John Tortorella before.
And yeah, they have a love affair going on. Since he's been back, it's all Hart.
But he did play for him in I believe he was there in Philadelphia with him. I think so. But Carter Hart might be the guy here in the playoffs for VGK. But I've said this before, in the Eastern Conference, I think the Eastern Conference is more open than people think. I wouldn't be surprised if Ottawa at 16-1 or Buffalo at 18-1 makes the Stanley Cup.
They're just going to have Buffalo's Canada. They're just going to have a Canadian team versus a real team and have the real team just win in 7 every year. Is that what we're doing?
No. But
all right. The script is not out.
But let me ask you, Mac, will a Canadian team finally win the Stanley Cup for the first time since the Canadiens in 1993? We obviously have the Edmonton Oilers, but look at this year. We have a lot this year. Edmonton, Ottawa. You mentioned Buffalo might as well be Toronto, right? Montreal is in it as well. So you got Montreal, Ottawa, and Edmonton. Will one of those teams win the Stanley Cup?
Edmonton's the best shot at 12%.
It would just be fun. It would just be funny if Buffalo did it though, because then you'd have Toronto fans that are diehard Maple Leafs fans, but then you'd have some people that live in Toronto that's hey, let's go to the game in Buffalo.
Right.
Let's root for them, and people will be like, no, we hate Buffalo.
It's like North Dakota and the Minnesota Vikings. It's the closest thing you're going to get.
They love the Bills, right? I know they have the Argonauts, but they claim the Bills. Remember the Bills used to play a
Josh
game?
Allen.
Do you remember the Bills used to play a game in Buffalo every year? They called it
I remember that.
The Bills.
The Seahawks beat them by 59 points one year. I remember that.
The Bills Toronto series or whatever that was called. Anyway, Major League Baseball. How about this? If you did a 2-leg parlay of both Aaron Judge and Mike Trout to homer in the same game in the Yankees versus Angels series, it cashed in 3 out of the 4 games.
Why are we overthinking this stuff? It's 2 of the great hitters of all time.
What?
You're going to go yard. Of course you're going to go yard. There's kids out there in the stands.
5 home runs in Yankee Stadium for Mike Trout. He might as well just ask to get traded to the Yankees, right?
Right?
Come on. So Trout joined Jimmy Fox in 1933, Darrell Evans in 1985, and George Bell in 1990 as the only players with 5 home runs in a series against the New York Yankees. That's wild stuff.
I feel like we shouldn't even talk about Mike Trout. We should it's we're going to jinx it.
We're jinx his legacy.
No. Just we haven't had a good Mike Trout year in 10 years.
I know.
He's one of the best players of all time.
I know. By the way, with the Yankees losing last night, this one courtesy of Sarah Langs on Twitter, both Aaron Judge and Giancarlo Stanton homered in yesterday's game. The Yankees are now 53-8 when Stanton and Judge homer in the same game, and that loss was yesterday, the 8th loss, just the 8th loss out of 61 games where they've homered together.
Not versus Mike Trout. Not tonight.
Not this version of Mike Trout. not on my watch. Yeah. Let's see. Other MLB news. Oh, speaking of the Yankees, Garrett Cole's making a rehab start today. So that is good news. He could be back on the mound ASAP. I will have an announcement, though, coming up, speaking of Major League Baseball, about a special promo rate, Mackenzie, that we are going to be running here for people interested in joining us at betterday.com. There's been so much positive feedback to our Major League Baseball game center, and I know that some people might be hesitant to jump on board because, maybe they don't want to join a membership site or whatnot, a subscription site, but we will be making an announcement maybe later on today about a special promo deal we're going to be offering. So those of you who are intrigued but haven't pulled the trigger yet might join us and experience some of the winning that our members are experiencing utilizing the Major League Baseball Game Center. We have one day game today. Kodai Senga on the mound for the Mets in Wrigley against the Cubs and Edward Cabrera. So your Friday day game there at Wrigley Field. The rest of the schedule is all night games tonight. By the way, the Cubs in that game, minus 143 favorites. All right, don't forget to follow us across all of your favorite social media channels, and be sure to make sure you're subscribing on YouTube as well, as we do post videos up on YouTube. You can follow the podcast there. I know Colby and Jake do a live stream on YouTube as well. Speaking of live streams, we will do a live stream coming up later today around 5 o'clock Eastern time on our Better Day Premium channel. So that is for Better Day Premium members only. But professional bettor Steve Fezzik will join us, and we'll get his thoughts on how to bet the NBA playoffs as the playoffs officially really begin coming up tomorrow. And we'll have other cool things to announce up on the website as well. Again, be sure to follow us across social media. Yes, Mac?
I would highly recommend that conversation with Fez. He's had a good NBA year. He's killed the NBA playoffs, often with my advice, but just in general, give him credit. He's killed the NBA playoffs damn near every year. So, yeah, you want to listen into that.
Yep, one of the perks of being a Better Day Premium member is to have access to these live Q&As when we do host them. Learn more about how you become a Better Day Insider or Premium member by clicking the link on our homepage at betterday.com. For Mackenzie Rivers, I'm Scott Seidenberg. Here's hoping you make today and every day a better day.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.